$100,000 in comics just sold. And number 10 on the list, it's selling for super cheap. X-Men 221, the first appearance of Mr. Sinister. You can get a 9.8 for $200 right now. There was a newsstand 9.8 that sold this last week for $650. There's a lot of Mr. Sinister spec, largely because he was introduced to most people through the X-Men 97 series, which is still going strong. It makes sense that they would set us up for a villain that people are pretty familiar with. Now, 221 doesn't have Mr. Sinister on the cover, which I think does this comic a disservice. I want to point to issue 239, where he's on the cover for the first time. And take a look at this census count. 9.8 has a total of 360 for 239, whereas 221 has over 2,200 9.8s on the census. Now, real talk, I'm getting a little tired of all the leaks and all the rumors. Every week, we're reporting on new actors taking on roles for movies that are years and years away. John Boyega in talks to play Bishop. Keep an eye out for issue 282, 283, first full appearance of Bishop. But I think we've gone full circle. We now have Sabrina Carpenter getting rumored to portray Dazzler. We are officially back to Dazzler spec. This is 2024 all over again.
Another character that we're sure is going to show up again is Doctor Strange. In at number 9 is Doctor Strange number 1. Not a book I expected to see on this list, but I do understand why it is here. We saw 5 sales with a 12-month average for $2,170 spent. A 9.8 sold for $1,260. That's up 13% on this book. This book is important because 110 was his first appearance. And then in Marvel Premiere number 3 to number 10, he showed up again, kind of in his own title. But really, this is where we get the true Doctor Strange that we know, where he's planted into his own title solo-wise. So he has this all to himself, and he brings and anchors himself as the most mystical being in all of Marvel. And this is where we're drawing most of what we're getting from when we see him in the MCU. Generally, I expect to see Strange Tales 110 here, not this book, or even Doctor Strange 169, where he gets his own name in title here. But I get why this book is here, because now Doctor Strange has his own solo title. And this is kind of what most of the MCU is drawing from. This is where he kind of anchors himself as the mystical being in Marvel. This is kind of the roots here. And it's a really obtainable book, not like that 110 in Strange Tales. There will be a Doctor Strange 3. The way they left it with Clea at the end, I want to know what's next. I want another film for Doctor Strange. So I'm excited to see it. I think this is a good book to get into if you are speccing on Doctor Strange, or if you just want a solid Doctor Strange key.
Support the show. Download Key Collector Comics. You get access to the Hot 10 before we even hit the mic. Number 8 on the list is Iron Man 55, first appearance of Thanos, Drax the Destroyer, and Star Fox, and the Blood Brothers. This book would be considered a low-tier key up until the MCU. And now it's officially arrived as blue chip. I mean, there is not really a whole lot of reason to buy this book. I do have a theory, though. We do have an 8.5 going for $850 this last week. That's up 3%, but a total of $3,500 in sales in the last 7 days is still a little surprising. Because are we going to see Josh Brolin Thanos again? Well, I don't think a lot of people expected to see Ultron again, and he's coming back for Vision Quest. Well, there's a lot of people who believe that Thanos may be brought back into Avengers Doomsday just to set up Robert Downey, Victor Von Doom, a character for him to take out immediately. But that's not a real reason to spend a ton of money on this book, right? Kind of sounds like a flash in the pan. And if you want to get the comic book where that scene actually takes place, you're looking for Secret Wars 8, not that Secret Wars 8. Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars 8 from 2015.
Number 7, Fantastic Four, number 49. No surprise here. The movie's right around the corner. We had 6 sales with almost $8,000 spent on this book, and a 9.0 sold up 11% for $4,950. Call it $5,000. This book in high grade is a tough book, so I understand the numbers that it's reaching and why it's so important to collectors. We have the first full Galactus appearance here. We have Silver Surfer on the cover. It's just an outstanding book. Now, God, I hope this movie is as equally as outstanding as this book is. I don't really think it will be, but you know where I stand if you watch this show weekly. But I'm hoping for good things. Now, we did get a little bit of a spoiler of his script of what's supposed to be happening through Cosmic Wonder. He just posted something, and allegedly there's possibly a new trailer coming out, well, before this video even comes out. So excited to see what that is, and we can all share it next week, because I'm sure there'll be another FF book on this list. But,
well, we're not going to spoil it, but based off the spoilers that they can go and find, what was your take on it? Is this even getting you a little bit more excited, or did it send you the opposite direction?
It sounds like it's going to be cliche. It's going to probably be expected, and nothing's going to be really too big of a surprise. But regardless, I'm hoping that we develop this attachment to the characters where we fall in love with the story, regardless, even though we may know what's going to happen. And so here's hoping, fingers crossed, and we'll know in about a month.
We did find out this last week that supposedly the studios greenlit a Fantastic Four movie part 2, that there's already a sequel that they've been granted. However, so was Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi 2 was granted before the first movie even was released. And where's that at? Also, Eternals was granted a second movie before the first one dropped. So, wishful thinking here. Hit the subscribe button because we're about to blow your minds with number 6. We have Amazing Spider-Man 31, first appearance of Gwen Stacy. 8.0 going for $1,500. That's up 4%. The 8.5 sold for $2,280. That's up 58%. There's a lot of reasons to spec on this book. Watch prior Hot 10 videos to get them all, because I can spend the entire 12 minutes we try to spend with you every week just talking about the various spec rumors, leaks just for Spider-Man Brand New Day. One thing I did want to mention, this is the first appearance of Gwen, but it's also the first appearance of Harry Osborn. And that is something that we never discuss. And truthfully, I don't know, if you were to ask me the first Harry Osborn, if I would think this book off the cuff.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I would have expected it to be an earlier issue. I mean, you got his dad appearing in issue 14 of ASM. So to come all the way to 31 and just now hear about Harry, I just would have expected to be sooner. I feel actually a little foolish that I didn't know that.
That just shows you how much Gwen dominates the key significance of this book, because both of us are going, wait a minute, this is first Harry Osborn. We don't even think about that when we see this book, not just for Spidey collectors, but just comic book collectors in general. But SpiderGwen, spec on Sadie Sink, Brand New Day, SonyVerse, yada, yada, yada. Well, Robbie Rodriguez, the co-creator of SpiderGwen, actually went to Heroes Con this last weekend. And that's what I want to talk about here today during this number. He broke out the interior pages for Edge of SpiderVerse 2 for the first time ever and told no one that he was going to do this. People were shocked when he laid them out on his table and confirmed 24 hours ago at the convention, the entire portfolio of that comic book that was available sold.
Wow, I can't even imagine an artist showing up and dropping an entire book of like one of the most important modern characters and just having that be available to the public. Like, and art's funny that way because you don't know what's going to show up, and especially at a convention. And Heroes Con, by the way, looks like one of the most outstanding conventions in the entire year. And that was the number one convention I wanted to go to, but I missed it this year. Anyway, shout out to anybody who went. Congratulations. But who ended up with these?
Who do you think got it, Jeff? I'm reporting from Bleeding Cool, but I also confirmed it this morning because he's a homie. I hit him up. Dinesh Shandasani made an offer that couldn't be turned down. And within minutes, every page was sold. I contacted Dinesh this morning, and he said that him and his investment group purchased everything for well over 6 figures. And he was so hyped about it because he knows that this is a monumental moment for modern comics, the next gen heroes. You got Into the Spider-Verse. You have such a fan favorite character. He and his friends could not pass it up. Big congratulations. Doesn't sound like a bad idea.
At 5, Amazing Spider-Man 129, first appearance of the Punisher. If I had to do this list, it wouldn't be at 5. It'd be higher. This book is so freaking important. And the portrayal of this character, John Bernthal, man, he's a creative genius. He's not just an outstanding actor. This man gave us the Spider-Man we possibly have, because he is the one who gave the creative notes to Tom Holland on what he should be doing for his audition for the Spider-Man role.
And I will take credit that in his audition tape, I gave him the note, Tom, maybe you should sort of run up that wall and do like a double backflip and then start the scene. And he was like, yeah, you think I should do that? That's not too much. And I was like, I don't think any of these other fools are able to do that. You know what I mean?
We saw 9 sales this week, about the 12-month average, over $15,000 spent. We had a 9.0 go up 14% and the 9.2 up 4% with a $3,015 sale. There is no surprise why this book is hot. Bernthal's Punisher has an absolute future, and we just got confirmation that he's going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and not just something minor, but apparently a major role. So next year looks like Daredevil Season 2, Brand New Day, and then a Punisher special. That's 3 things we're going to see this character in. MCU is all in on him. I am all in on this character, and it seems like so are the collectors.
Number 4 on the list, ASM 361, 9/8 going for 325 officially. 3 copies outdid the recent 12-month average. This is the first full appearance of Carnage, and I don't think it's because people are specking on a reprisal of the role by Woody Harrelson. No, this is because this book is a monumental symbiote key from just the ASM lore that has gotten so damn affordable. 14 sales, just shy of $3,000. The last sale took place for $265 this month, sub $300. It's been about 5 months since we've chatted about this book. Since then, an increase of 142 9/8s have been added to the census. The Sony news, if you're hoping for them to relinquish the rights of Spider-Man, I think that you're going to be disappointed because we're hearing this last week that they're in talks to buy Game of Thrones from Warner Brothers, the DC Universe from Warner Brothers, Harry Potter, and HBO Max.
Sony's going to buy those things?
That's what they're saying.
Oh, God.
So we're going to begin a lot more SpiderVerse stuff to keep the Spidey IP. Hopefully some of the new things they have planned work out.
God, I'm afraid. I'm afraid for all those IPs.
Number 3 on the list is New Mutants 98, Jeff.
If you had to ask me, the one character in all of the MCU that I like the most consistently
Like on the screen?
on the screen is Deadpool.
Oof.
And
Is that a hot take? Let us know in the comment section below because I completely agree with you.
after that, it'd be a close second would be obviously Wolverine.
So like it makes sense why we see the first appearance of Deadpool here. Strong on the list, but there's no like big news.
No, I mean, there's thoughts that there might be an X-Force coming in movie of some kind, which makes sense. I mean, we're looking at the tail end of the New Mutants title, which is going to then jump into X-Force 1, which is one of the most sold comics of all time. And we're going to see kind of a different take on mutants, something more military-like, not like the old X-Men where they were young and they were kind of more optimistic. This is military tactic team of X-Force characters, and he is tied into both. We have Deadpool with the New Mutants. We have Deadpool with X-Force. So this is a key. It's always going to be a key, and I see why it's here.
9/8 going for $1,200. It's been going for around $1,000 for the last year. It's up 14%. 3 copies outdid the 12-month average. 7,000 in sales in the last 7 days. The only thing we've heard is that Ryan Reynolds is scripting an X-Force movie, which would put this movie out in what, 3-4 years during the like competition of like the other mutant movies. So he's gonna have to like pull some mutants that are gonna do something separate from the main storylines. And I like this.
I know you like that book, but I think you love this book. In at number 2, Fantastic Four 48, or do you? Do you prefer number 49 or 48?
49 all day. Tougher book and high grade. There's way less of them that exists. And Galactus is so much cooler than Norrin, but I do love Silver Surfer. And we have the first appearance here at the list. 7 sales, $20,000 spent. People getting their blue chip Kirby before the movie next month. Did you see Giganta?
I did not expect when I woke up that I was going to get some type of buzz for a character named Giganto showing up that we see on the cover of FF1. Like, I heard Mole Man. I was like, okay, that's cool, Mole Man. But to get literally the recreation of the cover to the silver screen, I'm actually a little bit more pumped to get that kind of, what do you call it, fan favorite, like scenes like that in this movie. So please give us more of that.
Yeah, that means we got to see Mole Man, which I'm very hyped about. Well, we saw an 8.5 go for 4,300. That's up 11%. That's a year high. And a 9.2 went for 8,500. That's up 1%. I mean, FF is going to lead us into Avengers Doomsday. We know the entire like first Marvel family. They have seats already. You know, if you've seen Thunderbolts, you know they're coming to the 616.
If you haven't seen Thunderbolts, go watch it. But I do have to mention, just as a little side note, the reason there's a big discrepancy in value between 48 and 49 and scarcity is because there was a warehouse type find of this book where there was a large quantity that Mile High, I believe, brought to market in the 80s. So there was a table full of this book in high grade. So it's just one of those weird situations where a book was found in mass and it happened to be this key book.
Hit the like, slap the subscribe button. The number 1 hottest book in the world, dare I say, is because Hugh Jackman posted online that he's getting ripped again. And there's really only one reason why this dude would go this deep into body modification.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
Yes.
We got the number 1 hottest book in the world, Hulk 181, the first appearance of Logan, the Wolverine. 8 sales, nearly $40,000 in comics sold in the last 7 days. 9.0 is up 3%. 9.4 sold for $10,800, up 6%. That's a year high sale. With the success of Deadpool Wolverine, every week we've been hearing rumors about what's Hugh Jackman going to do with his portrayal of Wolverine long term? What's Daphne Keane going to do with her portrayal of X-23? Both are rumored to be taking on these characters for decades to come. We're going back to Madripoor very soon with Vision Quest. I mean, we just handled the adamantium, the celestial, and the ocean and Thunderbolts. Like, clearly they're setting us up for a lot of mutant stuff, but more specifically, a lot of Wolverine stuff in the future.
You know, sometimes I wonder about this book specifically because, you know, we have the 180, 181 discussion. We all know it, okay? But what if 180 just didn't really matter? Like 181 had it all, and 180 was just a regular $5 book. I mean,
no cameo.
No cameo.
Hypothetical. Okay.
Hypothetical. Because a 9.8 of a 180 sells for about $13,000. Like, if that money was never to be put into that book, how much more would a 181 be? It's already the most expensive Bronze Age book out there.
$70,000, $72,000 this year for a 9.8 Hulk 181.
What do you guys think percentage-wise more this 181 would sell for?
Yeah, like how much money does 180 pull from 181, considering there is a percentage of people who will always navigate towards 180, not just because of price, but just because of the cameo appearance. I like this thought experiment. Let me know in the comment section below. And of course, as always,
collect Golden Age and geek responsibly.
Enough said. And that's the end of the video. Make sure to go to comictom.com. You got to join our text message group because this is where we source all of our giveaway winners. We're giving away 5 copies of our FF48 Jack Kirby foil this coming trending video. But more importantly, at the end of next month, we're giving away the Bad Idea Team Up slab with stake through it cul-de-sac #1 to a lucky winner. And all you have to do is put your phone number in. Keep up with our drops and also just have a good week.